All right, good morning. Day one of the Florida trip, sort of. What is this? This is day 4 of traveling overall, but it was just the road trip down here, which is all explained in the previous video. But now I'm actually in Florida the rest of the time, and then I'm going to fly home this coming Saturday. So, my original plan was to return the rental car that I drove down in, and then be on foot, explore Orlando today, and then stay at an Airbnb in Orlando tonight. But I just decided I think I'd rather get the car and do some exploring today. So I went into the rental car place, and I just bought an extra rental day, basically, which wasn't really that expensive at all. Just a negligible amount of money on a trip like this for one more day. And I'm still in the same car that I picked up in Nashua, New Hampshire and drove down here because they offered at the rental place in downtown Orlando. They offered, I could get a different car. Like, they had the price I had reserved. And they said, yeah, it's going to be the same price. Whatever you want, you can keep this car, you can get something else. And I thought about getting something else, but they only had like SUVs and full-size sedans over there. So I decided to keep this car, be a little more economical, just because I drive so many miles, the gas mileage kind of matters. Right now, I'm going to check the odometer here. 1,526 miles on this car so far, and it's going to be well above 2,000 by the time I drop it off this weekend. So anyhow, in Florida, day 1 of full-time being in Florida on the trip. What I'm doing today is I started off the day in Orlando, and I'm going out to the east coast of Florida to Cape Canaveral to tour the Kennedy Space Center, which wasn't something that was on the original plans. Today was just kind of an open float around day. But my uncle in Washington, D.C. that I stayed with earlier this week asked me if I was going to the Kennedy Space Center. I was like, no, probably not. Wasn't really high on my list of things to do, but he had been there a few months ago and said it was just absolutely phenomenal. And he's like, yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but I would really recommend it. It's a great time. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, how pricey? And I was like, what's it, like 20, 30 bucks? He's like, no, it's $52. Which for me, if I'm paying $52 for something, it's almost always a sports ticket. It's not usually a museum or a thing like this. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I won't. I probably won't, to be honest with you. And he's like, it's so good. Here's the money. Just go. So, admission today on my Uncle Bill. Thank you, Uncle Bill, if you're seeing this. And I'm going to go check it out. And I'm going to take all of you along in the vlog with me. So the only thing I've done besides that this morning, I stopped at a Publix, which is a supermarket, the biggest supermarket chain in Florida. Had chocolate milk for breakfast because I had a craving for it. And then I also got, see if I can get one out real quick here. I got a whole case of bottled water, but I got Zephyr's brand, which is, focus, you can sort of see it. I got Zephyr's brand, which is big here in Florida. I think you can only get this in Florida, because it's like, they have Poland Springs in the Northeast and Deer Park or Arrowhead, whatever region you're from, of this company that makes these. This is the Florida brand, and I always like to get these when I'm traveling. Reminds me that I'm in a different, unique region than where I'm from. But yeah, so come along to the Kennedy Space Center.
Didn't like not being told what was wrong with the machine.
If you must leave during the presentation, please exit.
Mankind is about to leave his planet behind and journey to another. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
It was a moment shared by an entire world.
Hopefully you got a decent idea of what that was like from those clips. It was a good experience. I sound like a broken record when I say that, but they had like an actual space shuttle in there. They had a lot of real stuff. Like they had the control room from the Apollo missions that was actually in there. Because I don't like reproductions. I want to see the actual stuff that was used. And they had a lot of that here. It was not $52. It was $70. It was $57 plus tax to get in, so it was like $60 and change for that, and then it was $10 to park. So the total cost was about $70. But you know, my Uncle Bill treated me to the price of admission today, so thank you again, Uncle Bill, if you do happen to watch this. But honestly, that wasn't worth the price of admission. It just wasn't. That was well overpriced. I would say that could be like $19.95, not $70. But it was a lot. I would don't get me wrong though, I had a great time and I was glad to experience it. Just because it was way overpriced doesn't mean I had a bad time, because it was very fun. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I feel like I was in I was in among a lot of tourists in there, which is okay, but I want to go and feel like a local and enjoy this warm Florida weather at the same time. It's finally t-shirt weather, 77 degrees and sunny, and I just got back in the car, and that feeling where you have a bottled water in the car and you leave it there for a few hours and you take a drink when you get back and it's like warm to the point where it doesn't taste good. Well, that just happened, and it's an awesome feeling. It's like summer done come early. So what I'm going to go do is find a park or a wildlife refuge, something like that, that's in this part of Florida. And I'm going to just go enjoy some outdoor warm weather and Florida scenery. This is the Olme Wildlife Sanctuary in Merritt Island, Florida, about an hour east of Orlando on the coast. Still t-shirt weather. Ah, it feels good to be t-shirt weather in January. Yes, it does. Great to be in Florida. Look at that. There's an observation tower coming up, and I love things like that. Feels great to finally show you guys something that's not just me in the car. There were like 5 cars in the parking lot, but I've yet to see anyone else in here. Whoa. Oh, this is cool. Let me turn the camera around. there's a bunch of graffiti up here. But I guess that's to be expected. That usually happens at places like this. Well worth the stop. That was just what I needed. Oh, I just love these trees. Palm trees. Anytime you see these, you know it's warm. Being a northeast guy like me, it's amazing to be in a t-shirt, 70-degree weather, January. Oh, this is awesome. Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I didn't walk all the way down to the water. I didn't want to get my sneakers too sandy. So I'm in a t-shirt, but I'm still in jeans and a t-shirt because the weather in this part of Florida, like Orlando and the coast east of Orlando, it's been in the low to mid 70s today. But tomorrow, I'm driving down further south where it's warmer. I have a beach day tomorrow. Not exactly sure where yet. Maybe somewhere in the Fort Myers area, but stay tuned. So I just jumped back in the car and drove on Florida Route 520 over the causeway that leads out to Cocoa Beach, because in Florida, I mean, I love causeways, and in Florida, so many of them, they have beaches and boat launches and parks and parking right on the causeway, so you can just get off the causeway, park your car, and have some fun. And I've always thought that's really fascinating that you can do that, which is awesome. So I came back over to the causeway to watch the sunset from here. Sunny a half hour ago, and now it's looking like it could pour anyway. It's starting to rain lately. Look at this boardwalk. Wasn't the easiest thing getting over here. Alright, that's probably stupid to vlog and do that, but oh well. So I never actually showed you what rental car I was in. It's a 2018 Toyota Corolla with a New Jersey license plate. But I didn't have a Ford Fiesta, which is my favorite rental car. This is really all they had that wasn't an SUV or a big old sedan. So tonight I'm staying at an Airbnb that was like 20 some odd dollars in Orlando, a couple of miles from downtown. And it probably would have been better to stay over this way and in this area, or somewhere like kind of on the way to South Florida. But this was booked before I like encountered the friggin' snowstorm that screwed everything up. So I decided to just keep this Airbnb. So I'm going to stay in Orlando tonight and then head down. I think I'm going to go to Fort Myers tomorrow, but possibly Miami or the Keys. I'm not exactly sure. It's based entirely on the weather, and as of right now, it looks like Fort Myers has the warmest weather of those three. Gonna be in the low 80s there, and only in the upper 70s the other places. We'll see. I'll show you the Airbnb room when I get there, and if I remember, I'll show you what I get to eat along the way. I know I say that and I never remember, but we'll see. Who knows? Decor is a little upscale for my tastes, but hey, this room was like $28 including tax. I'll see you tomorrow.